Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Elevated Beauty Podcast. I'm your host, Emily Fouts, and today's episode is going to be about offering quality. This is something I'm really passionate about, and I think in whatever field you're in, if you are passionate about what you're doing, that you should be really determined to offering the best quality. So I'm going to speak more on that, and as always, if you're interested, then keep on listening. If you're a regular listener, this is a revised version of an old episode from when I was a Skin and Soul podcast. So today we're going to be talking about offering quality, how I do that, why I think it's important, and some helpful ways that I think you can make sure you're putting your guest first. So yeah, let's just get straight into it. And if you want to guess what I'm drinking today, if you guess green tea, you would be right. It's not a green tea matcha latte. Again, if you're a regular listener, you probably know I'm obsessed with those. But I love the Arizona green teas, just the regular canned ones. So you'll probably hear me sipping on that today. But yeah, I try to offer my guest the best quality that I can. And the reason I think that's important is not just because I want to take pride in what I offer and I want to know that I'm offering them the best that I can, but because I know if I give my guest a high quality experience, they won't look anywhere else because they will not have any need to. So for example, if you say you go to somewhere to get your nails done and they do a good job at your nails, but the floors are dirty. It's not the best atmosphere. And then you go to another place that has like the same level of quality for the nails. It's not like the performance is phenomenal, but the atmosphere is nice. They make you feel welcome and special. It's clean. Which place would you go to? So that kind of explains a big part of it right there is you want to not make your guests question that they would need to seek out anywhere else. So not allowing yourself to be compared with anyone else, because in my mind, I say there is nowhere else that can compare to what I offer here, because I try to offer fair pricing with, what services I offer, take into account my overhead and the products I'm using and everything. I still try to offer a fair price, and they get these luxurious amenities. They get a comfortable space. I try my best to be personable and kind to everyone that comes in here. So I'm just trying to literally think of everything that I can do to make my guests feel special and make them feel comfortable and have it nice in here so that they won't need to go anywhere else. So that's one part of it. Another big part for me is that, like I already kind of touched on this, is that I want to have pride in what I do. I don't want to ever perform a service and be like, I felt like I could have did that better. I didn't really enjoy that. I wasn't super proud of it. I took a picture of it and didn't feel like I wanted to post it. I don't ever want to have that experience. So at this point, I've niched down enough where I only offer what I know I'm good at. For example, when I first opened, so I do some waxing and then I do advanced skincare and lash lifts, tints, brow stains and tints. But when I first opened, I already knew I wasn't going to have arm and leg waxes on my menu, but I did have one client in. And when you first do open your business and you're starting out with zero clientele, you do kind of want to have a little bit of an open-mindedness And that's what I was trying to do when I accepted this leg wax. And I knew I hated leg waxes. I knew I wasn't the most proficient in them, but I offered it anyways because I was trying to be open-minded, trying to, get this client in. And I did the wax. It took me forever. The quality, wasn't there. And so I ended up not charging her because I'm like, you know what? This is not the level of quality that I want to offer to my guest. So I'm not going to charge you for this because I don't want you to leave here thinking it was what I'm about, because I'm not about this. I did tell her prior to the service that I don't have that displayed on my menu because I don't offer it, but I would offer it to her. And that was the only time I ever did that. So after that, I said, you know what? I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm only going to offer what I want to and what I know I'm good at. And that client actually turned into a repeat member of mine. She's a Brazilian wax member now. So the fact that I stood my ground on, you know what? No, this is not the quality that I offer. And I didn't charge her for it. She still had respect in me and my integrity. So now she's, a regular guest of mine and I see her every month. So some things I do to make sure that I'm offering the best quality I can to my guest is, first of all, to make sure that I am an expert in what I offer. So education is one of the most important things that you can do. Never stop learning. Make sure you are expertly educated on whatever field you're providing, and don't close yourself off to that once you feel like you're good at it. Continue to explore techniques and new products that are being developed to your industry. And people will recognize that and they'll follow you for it and they'll listen to your advice. So offering the best education that you can to your clients, vice versa from being educated, offering high quality products. So don't just bring products in that you don't really know, that you haven't used before. You don't know if they're good or not, because that kind of lowers your integrity a little bit. You only want to offer what you know and you feel does a great job and will deliver to your guest. And with that being said, delivering results. So doing services that will give them the desired result they're looking for. I have been in too many situations where I've been an employee and I've been told to push these services even though they weren't going to give the desired result to someone. So for example, there was someone that was dealing with melasma and I was told to tell her to come and get a hydrofacial every 2 weeks. And I knew that was not going to help with her melasma, and we were a day spa. Hydrofacials are amazing, but she needed more advanced products than what we were able to sell to her, and she needed more advanced care, I felt, than what I was being told to offer her. So just having that, being ethical with what you offer, because if someone's coming in and say they have hyperpigmentation, and you're doing microdermabrasion treatments on them and you're telling them, oh yeah, get a series of 6 microdermabrasion treatments and it'll fix your hyperpigmentation. No, it's not. It might brighten their skin a little bit, but it's not going to fix that deep-seated hyperpigmentation. So don't promise things to people, because at the end of the series or whatever, it's not going to deliver. And they're going to say, well, she lied to me. So definitely know what you're talking about and don't overpromise, because that happens too much. And I would feel horrible if people were putting their money into something that they could have put in somewhere else and gotten the result that they wanted and needed. So all that speaking to more in terms of being ethical with your services, offering quality there. But another way that you can offer a quality experience is by what amenities you offer and your atmosphere. So I'm someone who really appreciates someone who values their space and they keep it clean for their guest and they uphold that. If I walk into a space and there's dirty all over the floor, it hasn't been swept in forever, that tells me that you don't really care. And it's unsanitary for one. I actually went into a nail shop a month ago just to get my daughter's toes done. and the floor was so dirty. There was like a dirty mask on the floor, and they weren't allotting the time that they should have to keep this sanitary, keep the place sanitary. They were allotting that time to just getting more guests in. And that's not a good work ethic to me. So make sure that you are allotting time to take care of things on the back end that your client might not immediately notice, but contributes to your space as a whole. So doing like a weekly deep clean, make sure that the space is smelling good. Like when you wash your towels, wash them with bleach. Do some essential oil drops whenever you're like wetting your towels to put in your towel warmer. Maybe use a linen spray. Do all these little extra things that are kind of subtle, but eventually do get noticed. Make sure you have a nice pillow for their head, a leg bolster, nice lighting, a nice comfy seating area. And let's see, what else do I do? So things that I do in particular is I do have a room spray. I have a really like cute light in here that kind of gives an ambiance to the room, like this cool, relaxing ambiance. I have some music on my playlist that I play according to what service we're going to offer. So for facials, I do like lo-fi hip hop. And then for waxing and like lash lift or brow stain, I just do my like songs on Spotify, and I actually put them into a playlist so that when someone asks me, oh, what's this playlist, I can send it to them. And people appreciate that. So some other things that I do is I offer like peppermint tea whenever someone gets a luxury facial. I have that in a little to-go cup, and I put that's like just a little extra touch that I do because I know people will appreciate it. Also, after a chemical peel or microneedling service, I have like a little aftercare kit that I let people go home with, and they also appreciate that as well. It's definitely not necessary, but for me, on my part, I feel like it's necessary for their healing immediately after the treatment, because you want to use really soothing and hydrating ingredients. So I just put little samples in there that they can use for the next day or two following those advanced treatments. And then after they get an advanced treatment, or if they're a new client to body waxing, I have a aftercare instructions for body waxing, brow stain, chemical peel, microneedling, and it is like a PDF. And so after they leave, I send that to them via email or text message. That way they can easily refer to their instructions that way. In the past, I have worked places that have printed it out, and that's fine if you want to print it out, but people can too easily lose that. So I just like to do it on digital media, and that's something that people appreciate as well, because I'm taking that extra step to ensure their results. So depending on what type of services you offer, if you're a body waxer, if you do permanent makeup, if you do advanced skincare treatments, if you do lash extensions, whatever it is you do, there are these little things that you can do to ensure that your client is having the best experience they can. And you need to invest. You need to invest in your space, and you need to invest in your client, because what that's going to do is it's going to turn into a reinvestment. When your client becomes a raving fan and you've taken all the measures, you've done all the steps to cover all of your ground and make sure, like there's hardly nothing else that I can do to elevate their experience here, they're going to recognize that, and they're going to rave about you. They're going to tell their family. They're going to tell their friends. This was the most relaxing facial I've ever had. This was the easiest Brazilian wax I've ever had. She gave me a little towelette to wipe with that made me feel a lot better. And, it smelled nice. She had a heating pad on her bed. She talked to me the whole time. And that's another example of offering quality there. Like if you're a body waxer, I have talked about this before, actually in my last episode, Brazilian Waxing 101, about how I put a sanitary wipe on top of their modesty cloth. And I actually had someone last week tell me that they've been getting Brazilian waxes for years, and they've never had anyone give them a sanitary wipe before, and they really appreciated that. And I've heard that a few times. So that's just one of those measures that I take to make sure that my client's comfortable and I'm comfortable. Something else I do that I think is really fun and nice is, so in all of my intake forms, I have a photography release. So for like brows and lashes and then facial treatments or skincare treatments, I have photography releases. So the client already knows ahead of time that I will be taking before and after pictures. And so whenever I am doing a before and after, I will edit it together. And if I'm going to post it after I'm done editing it, I'll send it to my guests and I'll tell them, hey, I'm going to send you this so that you can see your results before I post it. Or if it is of someone who's like dealing with acne and they're not getting facial treatments and I'm doing a lash or brow treatment on them, a lot of the time they can be self-conscious, understandably, of their acne. So I make sure to tell them that when I am taking that photo, that I'm only going to crop in their eye or I'm only going to crop in their brow, and that makes them feel a lot more comfortable. And again, that's a level of quality that I think people really appreciate. So my advice would be, depending on what your niche is, what you offer, what your goals are, get a little notebook and write down, what do you want to achieve? What do you want your guests to experience when they come in? What impression do you hope that people have on you in your space? And then try and find like ideas and ways that you can achieve that with what you offer. And again, whatever services you offer, say if you do like lashes, try and source the comfiest like little lash pillow you can. Just try and brainstorm and think of what little touches you can add that people will really appreciate. As always, thank you guys so much for listening, and I will see you next Monday, 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, for another episode.